Hello, I'm going places. It's Thundercloud here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. Wednesday Words, you know, the name. It's James. That's what Mum calls me. Let's have some games. Fun, and games rhymes with James. It's a different start. Yeah, for a start. Right, this week, welcome to Wednesday Words. We didn't have one last week, and we didn't have a Chill and Tuesday either. So, yeah, we're kicking off the 2024 year right now with Wednesday Words. We've got Gabriel, Skye's around somewhere, myself, and we'll see where we take the night. Pardon me. Some announcements first. The Australian Poetry Film Competition is now open for submissions, and today the exciting news is I got my first submission from a student poet. Yeah, a fantastic poetry film about ballet written by a young Australian woman. Really good. So yeah, and as well as that, I'm running a GoFundMe campaign to raise funds for marketing the event and also for prize money of the event, because I really want to get the event, the Australian Poetry Film Competition, out to as many places as possible, like film schools, to filmmakers, to poets, to bush poets, to city poets, poets, student poets, old poets, new poets, poets everywhere throughout Australia, to do Australian poetry film, Australian bush poetry film, and Australian student bush poetry film. They're the three categories. And so I'm running a GoFundMe campaign. I've already received some donations there, so big shout out to the donors who've donated already. We've got a goal of $5,000. We've got $120. So if you can look underneath here, I'll put the link to the GoFundMe in the description, along with the link to the Australian Poetry Film Competition, which will be showing at the Australian Poetry Film Festival in November. And you can check that out on filmfreeway.com, Australian Poetry Film Festival, and I'll put the link down there later. All right, as well as that, we got Cassie Judy coming here. Yes, this Friday at 7 p.m. She is heartfelt, hilarious, catchy, sing-along, old folk music. She'll bring her incredible vibe that will bring you heaps of fun. She's very funny. You can check her out online, Cassie Judy, CASSYJUDY, and she'll be here this Friday. It only costs $10 to come at 7 p.m. Then next week on Wednesday, we've got Ali Rowe coming here as well. Ali Rowe are travelling back to Gippsland where they're from, but they've been participating up there at the Woodford Folk Festival. Then they're coming here to Guyra at the Australian Poetry Hall. Then they're off to Tamworth for the busking down there, because they were buskers of the year, something like that. So they're a fantastic act. That's next Wednesday instead of poetry. Yeah. So next Wednesday instead of poetry, we've got Ali Rowe here at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. doors, 6:30 starts the show. All right, what else is happening? They're the big event. They're the big announcements. Yeah, the GoFundMe, the Australian Poetry Film Festival, and that's where we're going. All right, those things are out of the way. Let's begin with some poetry anyway. It's not Australian, but it's fantastic. It's Dr. Seuss. In fact, one year I was on the in Jerrabah, Stradbroke Island at the Island Vibe Festival doing the Poets' Breakfast, and I did one about the turtle, that's right. And young John O'Shri from Brisbane up there, he said I'm the hippie Dr. Seuss, so that was a bit of an honour. Maybe because my poetry's often rhymed and about animals and stuff, or it was at that time. Oh, the places you will go. I like this one. It's a lovely parable metaphor of the hero's journey in life by Dr. Seuss. Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You've brains in your head, your feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what to do. And you are the guy who'll decide where you'll go. You'll look up and down streets, look them over with care about some who will say, "I don't choose to go there with your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet. You're too smart to go down any not so good street." And you may not find any you'll want to go down. In that case, of course, you'll head straight out of town. It's opener there, in the wide open air. Out there things can happen, and frequently do, as people as brainy, as footsy as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew. Just go right along, you'll start happening too. Oh, the places you'll go. You'll be up on your way. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers who soar to high heights. You won't lag behind because you'll have the speed. You'll pass the whole gang and you'll soon take the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be the best of the best. Wherever you go, you'll topple the rest. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. I'm sorry to say so, but sadly it's true that bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You can get all hung up in a prickly perch, and your gang will fly off on. You'll be left in a lurch. You'll come down from the lurch with an unpleasant bump, and the chances are then you'll be in a slump. And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself, cunt, is not easily done. You'll come to a place where the streets are not marked. Some windows are lighted, but mostly they're dark. A place you could sprain both your elbow and chin. Do you dare to stay out? Do you dare to go in? How much can you lose? How much can you win? And if you go in, should you turn left or right and 3/4, or maybe not quite? Or go round back and sneak in from behind? Simple it's not. I'm afraid you'll find, for a mind maker upper to make up his mind. So you get so confused that you'll start into race down long wiggled roads at a breaknecking pace and grind on for miles across weirdish wild space, headed, I fear, towards a most useless place. The waiting place. For people just waiting. Waiting for a train to go, or a bus to come, or a plane to go, or the mail to come, or the rain to go, or the phone to ring, or the snow to go, or waiting around for a yes or no, or waiting just for their hair to grow. Everyone's just waiting. Waiting for the fish to bite, or waiting for the wind to fly a kite, or waiting around for Friday night, or waiting perhaps for their Uncle Jake, or a pot to boil, or a bed of break, or a string of pearls, or a pair of pants, or a wig of curls, or another chance. Everyone's just waiting. No, that's not for you. Somehow you'll escape all that waiting and staying. You'll find the bright places where boom bands are playing. With banner flip-flapping once more, you'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky, ready because you're that kind of guy. Oh, the places you'll go, there's fun to be done, there are points to be scored, there are games to be won, and the magical things that you can do with that ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame! You'll be famous as famous can be, with the whole wide world watching you win on TV. Except when they don't, because sometimes they won't. But I'm afraid that sometimes you play lonely games too, games you can't win, because you'll play against you. All alone, whether you like it or not. Alone will be something. You'll be quite a lot. And when you're not alone, there's a very good chance you'll meet things that scare you right out of your pants. There are some down the road between hither and yon that can scare you so much you won't want to go on. But you will go on you will go. Though the weather be foul, on you will go. Though your enemies prowl, on you will go. Though hacking cracks howl, on and up many a frightening creek, though your arms may get sore and your sneakers may leak. On and on you'll hike, and I know you'll hike far, and face up to your problems, whatever they are. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. Be sure when you step with great care and tact, and remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And yes, you will succeed. Yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains. So, be your name Buxom or Bixby or Bray or Morsedai Allen Van Allen O'Shea, you're off to great places. Today's your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. One of the things I love about Dr. Seuss is how inspirational he is, and his lessons for children, or for anyone really. Yeah, more.
He's grindingly optimistic, isn't he?
Very. Oh yeah.
Black stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Mordecai Ali Van Allen O'Shea. I'm an O'Shea in my mum's side. Yeah. From County Cork. Oh, thank you very much, Skye, for the tea. I did get a funny little smile across my face when it said you get mixed up with strange birds. You missed that. Oh gosh, some of the ones in my life. Just jokes, eh? Just jokes. All right. Here we are. Let's get on to some other more stuff now. The places you'll go. Well, around Australia. Well, Skye's a bit of a traveller. Gabriel's certainly been many places, and myself, yeah, I've travelled a bit and wide and half far. Yeah, and we have a tradition in Australia of, travellers, backpackers, people living in their vans, buses, whatever. Quite a lot of, grey nomads, and people hit the road just because it's such a large country. But the swag people, the swagmen of the day used to carry their swag, also known as their Matilda. So waltzing your Matilda was your bedroll, in honour of the Matildas, which were the German slang name for the prostitutes that they used to take with them on their war campaigns. Yeah. So, and many of the early settlers were Germans that came out here, and they were carrying around, walking about. Anyway, so I got a few from Australian Bush Ballads, edited by Douglas Stewart and Nancy Keesing, and I'm going to do two of them here about Swagman. The Sundowner Sacrifice by J.O. Old Jacky gazed on the setting sun as he stood by his garden gate, when to him appeared a regular one of the sect called the Swag Estate. Chance of a job, 'twas the fixed address, and it glibly slipped his jaws as a parson's patter is void of stress, and told too for the self-same cause. An idea lit up the humorist's brow of a fine retributive plan, and he answered, "Well, I want just now a really active man. Can you run? Would you mind running around the shed? Can you mess with the men tonight? The thought of a feed of yeasty bread made the whaler's heart as light. He dropped his hump and he hitched his trews and took up a hole in his belt. A stomach ill-used braced up his thews, his soles, 2 square feet smelt. At something like a botany pace, he covered the track set out. The great sweat of tears ran down his face. He was winded just about. As the woolly joker again he faced, playing a dirty wipe. A smile that gentleman's visage graced, suspiciously rich and ripe. Ah, very good, yes, I think you'll do. Give this to the cook very well. In the morning, I want you to, clear out of here like blazes. Doesn't even wreck off. Clear out of here like blazes, it doesn't rhyme, so there you go. The Sundowner Sacrifice, I worked all night and in the morning said, get out of here. A swagman's farewell to Matilda. The swagman sat upon a log beside a waterhole and eyed Matilda on the ground with anguish in his soul. He drew his hand across his eyes as far across the plain. Came wafted down the forest aisles the whistle of a train. Again he looked to where she lay, insensate on the clay, while slow the lengthened shadows bared the even of the day. He saw how shrunken was her form, how wrinkled, old and worn, and felt it tugging at his heart as if the strings were torn. Farewell, Matilda, you've been my partner all these years, upon life's journey through the West with all its smiles and tears. But now, alas, the times have changed and this can never be. For where your form was welcome once, you now meet obloquy. The swagman paused and bared his head beneath the darkened sky, then raised Matilda in his arms and breathed a last goodbye. The brand of Cain was on his brow, but anguish in his soul, as with a frenzied cry he cast her in the waterhole. A startled nightbird gave a scream and flapped across his sight. Matilda's ghost, he gasped and fled, a madman through the night. Yeah. So his partner died, got rid of her in the waterhole, and then a bird flew out and he thought it was a ghost. Ah! Yeah. Fair enough. All right. Where am I taking? What journey am I taking you on tonight? I was going to take you on an Allen Ginsberg America.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look how excited Gabriel is. That's great. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was written here, I think, in 1957. That says the date in the early in the poem. And yeah, has very little to do with Australian poetry, but as far as American and for international poetry, it's just like one of the classics of all times. It'd be good if we had some kind of jazz music behind it, even. Yeah. I will use profanity in this, so I'm going to be using the F word, so if you're offended, you've been warned. But you've heard it all before anyway, like who hasn't? America by Allen Ginsberg. America, I've given you all, and now I'm nothing. America, $2.27, January 17, 1956. I can't stand my own mind. America, when will we end the human war? Go fuck yourself with your atom bomb. I don't feel good. Don't bother me. I won't write my poem until I'm in my right mind. America, when will you be angelic? When will you take off your clothes? When will you look at yourself through the grave? When will you be worthy of your million Trotskyites? America, why are your libraries full of tears? America, when will you send your eggs to India? I'm sick of your insane demands. When can I go to the supermarket and buy what I need with my good looks? America, after all, it is you and I who are not perfect, not the next world. Your machinery is too much for me. You made me want to be a saint. There must be some other way to settle this argument. Burroughs is in Tangiers. I don't think he'll come back. It's sinister. Are you being sinister? Or is this some form of practical joke? I'm trying to come to the point. I refuse to give up my obsession. America, stop pushing. I know what I'm doing. America, the plum blossoms are falling. I haven't read the newspapers for months. Every day, somebody goes on trial for murder. America, I feel sentiment about the Wobblies. America, I used to be a communist when I was a kid. I'm not sorry. I smoke marijuana every chance I get. I sit in my house for days on end and stare at the roses in the closet. When I go to Chinatown, I get drunk and never get laid. My mind is made up. There's going to be trouble. You should have seen me reading Marx. My psychoanalysts think I'm perfectly right. I won't say the Lord's Prayer. I have mystical visions and cosmic vibrations. America, I still haven't told you what you did to Uncle Max after he came over from Russia. I'm addressing you. Are you going to let your emotional life be run by Time magazine? I'm obsessed by Time magazine. I read it every week. Its cover stares at me every time I slink past the corner candy store. I read it in the basement of the Berkeley Public Library. It's always telling me about responsibility. Businessmen are serious. Movie producers are serious. Everybody's serious but me. It occurs to me that I am America. I am talking to myself again. Asia is rising against me. I haven't got a Chinaman's chance. I'd better consider my national resources. My national resources consist of 2 joints of marijuana, millions of genitals in an unpublishable private literature that replaced that jet planes 1,400 miles an hour and 25,000 mental institutions. I say nothing about my prisons, nor the millions of underprivileged who live in my flower pots under the light of 500 suns. I have abolished the whorehouses of France. Tangiers is the next to go. My ambition is to be president, despite the fact that I'm Catholic. America, how can I write a holy litany in your silly mood? I will continue like Henry Ford. My strophes are as individual as his automobiles, more so. They're all different sexes. America, I will sell you strophes, $2,500 a piece, 500 down on your old strophe. America, free Tom Mooney. America, save the Spanish loyalists. America, Sacco and Vanzetti must not die. America, I am the Scottsboro Boys. America, when I was 7, Mama took me to communist cell meetings. They sold us garbanzos, a handful per ticket. A ticket cost a nickel and the speeches were free. Everybody was angelic and sentimental about the workers. It was all so sincere, you have no idea what a good thing the party was in 1835. Scott Nearing was a grand old man, a real mensch. Mother Bloor, the Silk Strikers, Huey Weirdlich made me cry once I saw the Yiddish art of Israel Anterplain. Everybody must have been a spy. America, you don't really want to go to war. America, it's them bad Russians. Them Russians, and them Chinamen. And them Russians, the Russian wants to eat us alive. The Russian's power mad. She wants to take our cars from our garages. Her wants to grab Chicago. Her needs a Red Reader's Digest. Her wants our auto plants in Siberia. Him, big bureaucracy running our filling stations. That no good. Ugh. Make him Indians learn read. Him need black niggers, huh? Her make us all work 16 hours a day. Help. America, this is quite serious. America, this is the impression I get from looking in the television set. America, is this correct? I'd better get right down to the job. It's true, I don't want to join the army or turn lathes in precision parts factories. I'm nearsighted and psychopathic anyway. America, I'm putting my queer shoulder to the wheel. Berkeley, January 7, 1956. Yeah, certainly, in a way, you can certainly draw the parallels with today, with any society, not just America, but really many societies in the democracy.
About a year before Howl, his big one, which is like a more mature version of that.
Yeah, well, would you like to come on up now, Gabriel?
If you like,
yeah.
Unless you want.
Okay. Because I'm dry.
Hi everybody. The work I'm going to read by other people have all got a China theme. But the first thing I'm going to do is do one of mine, and then the last thing I'm going to do is one of mine's. So you've got a kind of sandwich, because neither of mine have got anything to do with China, but all the ones in the middle have. Now, I was surfing the net and looking at my LinkedIn and Facebook, and somebody called Paul McCartney was on the list of people who wanted to be a friend. I thought, oh yeah, right. Want to be a bit more original with your name. So anyway, I accepted, and bugger me if it wasn't the actual person. So the moral of the story is, if you get a famous person asking to befriend you, say yes because it could actually be them. I had the same thing 2 years ago with Germaine Greer, and it really was her.
Yeah.
So, and you can get on some random list because obviously they don't know me from Adam then or now. But I thought, now, suppose I was to have a real conversation over the internet or face to face or over the Zoom with Paul McCartney. What do I really want to say? And I thought, I'd seen on YouTube about a week earlier a programme where they spent a whole hour on what they reckoned was the turning point of the Beatles. For those viewers who are under 50 years old, Beatles were the biggest group in the 60s, and Paul McCartney is one of the only two surviving ones, and he half wrote half the songs. And the turning point was a track called Paperback Writer, the first one that they did that really wasn't about love at all, and that had George Martin doing a lot of mixing. Now the other side of that was another one that had nothing to do with love, called Rain. And the point of the song called Rain was that you could do anything that you could do in the dry, in the rain. And the chorus was, I can show you that when it starts to rain, everything's the same when the rain comes. I thought, now, I'll do a little reply to that. So, got your point, Paul, for 1966, but now it's not the same when the rain comes. Every year, the heartless heavens pee. The land becomes the sea when the rains come. After long droughts, the rainfall we don't mind, but storms, tsunamis, cyclones are always badly timed. So I ask you, while you're still alive, update your song, don't skive. It's untrue now, it's untrue now. That was that. Now, about, must be a month ago now, I borrowed the collected works of Faye Zwicky from the Poetry Hall of Fame here, and there are a lot of very nice ones in there. But I want to single out her fascination with China, and it gives a flavour of her wider work. And so there are three fairly short ones. Here's the first one. I'm in Beijing. When I was young, it was Peking. Fans and silken lacquered screens. Sages playing chess in elegant pavilions on the flowery mountain. It's -4. The heating system thumped all night. The cistern trickled. At school, we called it Chinese torture, gave each other Chinese burns. China was the name to conjure with. When we were young, light years away, out of this world. It's 5:30 a.m. and I've been downstairs twice. Nobody there. Down in a vast reading room for students, I saw 2 dog-eared journals, China Reconstructs, in a bookcase with glass doors. Not a book in sight. Somebody left a Chinese newspaper. I can't read a word. Who am I here? The water taps are dry. The colours in my room bring back Australian holidays. Dead brown, brainless pub wardrobes, kitchen green walls, dun green felt carpeting. Under the bed with its embroidered pillow slip lie 2 used plastic scuffs. They're also green. There's a tall red anodised thermos flanked by 2 sachets of coarse tea leaves, rough as bonsai mallee roots. 2 mugs with lids, something square stands sheathed in black. Velvet and sinister, it's in a corner. I lift a flap. A TV set, the antennas a Chinese character inside a hoop of steel. 2 diabolic little horns point upward. Many knobs, a cord, no PowerPoint. I lift the phone. It buzzes like 1,000 swarming bees. I put it down. Don't look out the window yet. Try to deal with what's inside. At 6 the water starts. My bath looks like the Red River. I slumber in the river, part of me awake on CA Flight 309, marking before the symptom, if any now, fever, rash, cough, bleeding, psychosis, leprosy, AIDS, I've got them all. The river's still, becalmed above red sediment. Below the window on a concrete path, a man in black stands motionless. Black gloves, black coat, a cap. Is he really standing there below my bathroom window? I look hard again, holding my breath. He's there all right. He's all alone. The dawn is rising red before him. He doesn't know or care that there's a frightened watcher following his stillness like a dream. But he's turning slowly. Now, slowly, like a dream, he turns and folds his hands as if in the slowest prayer. First one side and then slowly to the other, light years away and out of this world. He isn't young.
What year did she go?
She went twice. This was the first one, and it was right at the end of Cultural Revolution time.
Oh, quite a long time ago.
Oh, well, a long time ago, all right. Long before development. Long before development. Next one. She goes to the Terracotta Army at Xi'an, and he wrote a poem about the Emperor Qin Shi Huang. No epics or grandiloquent smiles, nothing in between Confucian law, town nihilism, no one better than the other. Tolerance provokes occasional civil war, or rough reactions against formal prosody. No swashbuckling on or off the page, no fear of loss of face. A timid recluse plays chess with a Taoist priest, or practices calligraphy with a casual caller. Both sharpen their blades in silence. Such people are biddable, landlocked, willing subjects, ardent defenders against foreign influence, cattle rustlers. As my birth drums resounded in the drum tower, nights of thumping dark rhythms prefigured sinister energy, causing hot springs to overflow their banks. To ensure I got the picture early, my place in the scheme of things, the kingdom's helots started construction on my the year I was enthroned, my 13th birthday. The door, equipped with automatic crossbows, protected my coffin, resting on a copper base. Mercury and pearls represented rivers, the sun and the moon. To symbolise heaven and earth, they added wild geese and ducks, pines and cypresses. With such fine art, I hardly needed what was left of a life. They tell me my favourite nursemaid, valet and concubine will be sealed alive with me in the burial chamber's alleys, their reward for a lifetime's devotion. Again, that recognisable twist. And the last one from her, called The Duck Herd's Night Off. Lying low on the Yangtze under a haiku moon drift, same old moon, same old fraying wisps of cloud, passing over the long flat rocks starred with plum blossom. Gleaming sickles of yesterday's reed pickers laid to rest, all at the end of my nose, taking the misty air. Like my dearest, bobbing dreamless on, the quiet current, head tucked, so modest under the sheen of her green wing. I think Chinese styles actually influenced her a lot there.
Yeah, I felt that, yeah.
But yes, she's good. And now, some actual Chinese ones translated. And these are all more or less contemporary. They're certainly in the Mao period, but this book of Chinese poetry I borrowed from the Armadale Library. All the ones who in it who are contemporary are expats, that is, they're Chinese who fled China over Tiananmen Square or just economic migrants. So how far they can be said to be authentic is probably a bit of a question mark, but take them at their own face value as poets, just looking at the text. So I'll give you their names, but of course they won't mean much. Both these guys are still alive. One's called Bei Dao, this one's called Response. The base make a safe conduct pass of their own baseness, while honest men's honour is at their epitaph. Look, the gold-plated sky is brimming with drifting reflections of the dead. If the ice age is long over, why does everything hang with icicles? The Cape of Good Hope has been found long ago, so why do sails still contend in the Dead Sea? I came to this world with nothing but paper, rope and my own shadow to speak for the condemned before sentencing. Listen to me, world, I don't believe. You've piled 1,000 enemies at your feet, count me as 1,001. I don't believe the sky is blue. I don't believe in echoing thunder. I don't believe dreams are just fantasy and that there is no revenge after death. If the ocean must burst through the seawall, let its bitter water irrigate my heart. If the continents are destined to pile up, let us choose the mountain peaks as our hermitage. Glittering stars and new spinning events pierce the naked sky, like pictographs 5,000 years old, like the coming generations watching eyes. Love the overtones in that one.
Yeah.
Penultimately, this one's called A Night at the Hotel. The Declaration of Love, co-authored by lip prints and tears, bravely climbs into the mailbox. The mailbox is cold, long abandoned. Its paper seal, like a bandage, flaps in the wind. The eaves rise and fall softly under the black cat's paws. Large trucks grind sleep till it is hard and thin. The sprinter in dreams hears the starter's gun all through the night. The juggler can't catch his eggs. Street lamps explode with a loud shriek. In its coat of yoke, the night grows more grotesque. The woman in her nightgown yanks the door open. Shaking heaven and earth like a deer, she runs wildly barefoot across the carpets. A huge moth flits across the wall, plunges into the crackling fire of a ringing telephone. In the receiver, silence. Only snow goes on singing, far away on the power lines. Very bleak. And comes across well even in translation. And then going right back in time to the big Taoist writer of the Tao Teh Ching, which I'd never actually read before, because I thought it was the same thing as the I Ching. It's nothing of the kind. And this was written in about the same time as Buddha, about 600 BC. But I'm not sure that I've referenced the right thing here. Anyway, I'll read one out, because I've written down page 33 to 35. I'm not sure they're the right one. Anyway, I'll just read one out. There is a wonderful tree in the courtyard, rich flowers among its green leaves. Breaking a twig, I pick its blossoms to send them to the man I love. The fragrance fills my blouse and sleeves. You're too far off for me to send them.
not that these flowers are some great gift, they give me grief of long separation. Now that is not the Tao Teh Ching at all. That's anonymous in the Han Dynasty, 206 BC to 220 AD. Let's see. Right, just a few. Number 47. Without walking out the door, know the whole universe. Without looking out the window, see the way of heaven. The farther you go, the less you know. Thus the sage knows by staying still, fathoms without seeing, achieves through non-action. 49. The sage doesn't have his own heart. The people's heart is his heart. He's kind to the kind and kind to the unkind, since virtue is kind. He has trust in the trusting and trust in the trustless, since virtue is trust. He breathes carefully, not to scare those under heaven. He seems muddled when he does things for the world, and in the eyes and ears of all, he seems to act like a child. Soft and weak, number 76, soft and weak at birth, a man is rigid, hard at death. Trees and plants are soft and supple alive, brittle and withered when dead. Thus the hard and brittle belong to death, and the soft and weak belong to life. An adamant army may be decimated. A tree that's too strong will be crooked. Thus the hard and strong are subjugated, and the soft and weak triumph. Pretty good. There's lots more like that. I'll bring them back another day. And now, the other one I did, I have to do some introduction here. It's, where should we start? Okay. In the year 2012, the Aztec calendar, which is the same as the Mayan calendar, said the whole cycle will end and it'll be the end of the world. And I used to do a lot of astrology when I lived in Britain. I did it on the radio. And in the year 2012, the sun was conjunct the centre of our galaxy, the Milky Way, and round about then, scientists were discovering exoplanets around distant stars for the first time. It was also round about then that New Agers, who've been doing ordinary astrology and regular fortune telling with a greater or lesser degree of inauthenticity, decided that some of them had souls that originally came from nearby stars and faraway galaxies. They weren't saying this in 1996, they had to wait till 2012 when there are actually discoveries of exoplanets before this one came. But now if you look on YouTube and you put in star seeds, there are almost as many as particularly women, but it's not only women, it's particularly American women, saying that not only are they from the Pleiades or Orion or so-and-so, but they can actually teach people to connect with their own starseed origin, and that on the one hand, the star seeds are almost the chosen people. On the other hand, they've come here to lift the Earth's vibration, and the first wave of star seeds was the hippies of the late 60s, and we're now on the fourth wave. Now, at the same time as the original hippies were going on, a very famous musical that's still famous was Hair. And one of the big songs in Hair is Good Morning Starshine. I thought, well, it would be quite nice to use that song to do something for the starseeds, because they haven't got their own song. And I'll start with the chorus from the original, and then I'll do my writing with the verse. So the chorus of the original,
I won't sing this because it's a very nice song and I'll wreck it. Anyway, it goes, gliddy glub glooby, nibby nabby nooby, la la lo lo, tooby ooby walla, nooby abba dabba, early morning singing song. So now Margaret. Good evening, starseeds, you visiting souls. You come here from star neighbours, you swam here in shoals. Good morning, starseeds, thanks for raising our vibe. So long you've been waiting to give us a ride. You all look like humans, but tell us your lives were spent light years distant, where all goodness thrives. Lyra, Arcturus, Pleiades, Vega, Lala, Lolo, Orion, Andromeda, Speaker, sources of your soul, say you. Good morning, starseeds. Our sun says good day. You twinkle inside us, at least that's what you say. Good morning, starseeds, whatever you are. Keep telling your stories, they're raising our bar. And see you later.
Yeah. Woo! So,
Really nice song, isn't it?
but I did. I listened to it over and over again when I was
I think you have to really actually have
young.
a good voice.
Mum and Dad had it on a record, on an album, and of course me being an Aquarius,
I went to see
I was all about my age, the age of Aquarius.
That's it. I went to see her, and they invited the audience up on the stage, and there were three of us competing to dance with the same one. About 5 seconds with them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, me, I'm from Melbourne. Melbourne, yeah. Melbourne. You say that's M-A-L-B-E-N. That's how you spell it. Because I've got that spelling. I've got to find the what I was going to do for you next, which actual poem I was going to do for you, and it's a New Year's poem. Before I get ask Skye to come on up. This was actually written on New Year's. So yeah, this is my New Year's message to everybody. Boom! I'm Thundercloud, and it's a year that is new, and I've come with a message for you and you and you. And you can discern if what I say is true, but it's time to just be. Just be you. I shouldn't have to say it, but some need directance. Gratitude comes through universal acceptance. Bliss, peace and joy rise from fear transcendence. Pain comes from hate, judgment and unacceptance. Be wary of the words that you say about you. Everything you think and say becomes what you do. If you think and say it's true, your mind creates it too. Because everything is mind, Hermetic wisdom. True? If you feel like you're stuck or in a dark hole, what a great opportunity for a new life goal. I extol that control of the whole of your soul, and mastery of self is the sole goal in your role. Happy New Year.
Very true.
Yeah. I made up a word there, directance. Yeah, just that's poetic license for you. Yeah,
it's clear.
Some need directance because it rhymes with acceptance, transcendence, and unacceptance. Yeah. And Skye, welcome back! Yay! We better lower the microphone. Lower the podium too. Yeah.
Okay, I'll start with conspiracy of a day or year, playing on the year. one that I did for the Dirty 30. Yeah, because I haven't written anything new.
Oh.
But that's alright.
It is.
Okay. Put it in gear, slipping from the rear. What is that I hear? Bogged in mud, I fear. Jacked up, I need a beer. Sinking in the mud, oh dear. Chopped it up, tear by tear. The spanner, it was near. I'm sure it was just here. Down the engine bay I peer. Ow, my arm I sear. My friend, he could not help but jeer. I cried a tear. I know it's queer, but it was a shitty atmosphere. I tried to steer, rolled it out of the bog it veered. My friend had mud from ear to ear, and I, just a mere smear. Rolling towards a pier, driving away across the weir, forgetting my friend, old King Lear. And the Jack, oh dear. And another one. On the wings I go. In fields I lay a summer's day, be surrounded by wildflowers. On wings I go, so high and low as butterflies pass by hours. I dream away, so far away, the land of peace and glory, for all who live, yes, those who give, away with the killing and gory. So bring me back beyond the track to a world that seems so breezy, to love and play and say good day and be kind as it's so easy.
Yay. Done?
Yeah, all good.
Alright. So, well, I guess it's time for me to do some of my last 2 weeks of writing. Not all of it. Just the good bits. Well, on the 2nd of January, I wrote this one about a Singer sewing machine, which I've got this old treadle Singer sewing machine over there. And it was given to me by my friend Annette, and it used to belong to her mother. And this guy came in, and he's an old fella, and he's like looking at it, and he's like, oh, I used to work in the Singer sewing machine factory when I was 16. And he was reminiscing, and then he had some lunch here, some of my delicious minestrone soup and homemade bread. And while he was in there with his wife having lunch, I wrote this and then read it out to him before he left. She's a singer, and her foot is stainless steel, and on her right-hand side is a leather-belted wheel, sleek and black with gold decals, flywheel and a pedal. To get her going, all you have to do is pump and treadle. She's quite old now, but still goes with a bit of Singer oil. When you feel as she's excited as she loves to work and toil with linen, silk and cotton, she is all the go. She's a Singer treadle sewing machine, and she loves to sew. So there. Then I was also reading in Trove, I was reading the Gyra Argus from 1923, yes, 18th of January, that's 100 years ago almost. And the headline was in the Gyra Argus from January the 18th, 1923, Juvenile Ball, a brilliant function. So they had these like when you read it, when I read the article, it's all about this ball that they had somewhere in Gyra, and there were like little kids all dressed up in suits, like 4-year-olds and stuff, and they came with their parents and of all ages. It would have been extremely amazing. Look it up on Trove. But 'twas a brilliant function, came one and all. 123 years ago in Gyra was the Juvenile Ball. actually. Well, it says January 23, but it was January 20, the one that I was reading. The children were all dressed up, and also the hall. The food good, dancing merry, the guy a juvenile ball. That's it. It's a quatrain. It's not long. Why do I scoot? No, I'm not going to read you about scooting. I'm going to read you about the psychedelic Cheshire cat named Hank. Yeah. A psychedelic Cheshire cat named Hank took 50 flamingos in a sack to the bank. Said to the teller, "Please take care of those. I'd like to deposit these 50 flamingos." The teller, confuddled, didn't know what to do, said, "This isn't a zoo. I'll get the manager for you." The manager came and recognised Hank. "Ah, welcome, you've brought flamingos to the bank. Here, have some tea and strawberry cake. We've just completed the flamingo lake. Let's go have a look. It's just out back with nests so that you can earn interest back. And the interest rate is 28%. Investing in flamingos is worth every cent." "Great," replied Hank. "May I have a loan because I need to get my pet bull terrier a bone?" The manager went to the safe to unlock it. He pulled out the key to the safe from his pocket, opened the safe, which was full of dog bones, asked, "How many bones do you want for your loan?" 10 will be enough. Life isn't tough. One would make my dog happy. His name is Ruff. 6 months later, Hank the cat returned, withdrew all the interest on the flamingos that he'd earned, sold the baby flamingos, made a good profit, bought a Ferrari and the loan while he paid off it. Hank got wealthy from the strategy he chose, investing in FCT, flamingo cryptos. Hank, the psychedelic Cheshire cat, was a billionaire investing in flamingo cryptos from his deck chair. The manager of the bank took him out to tea and said, "Your flamingo investments are very safe with me." That's Hank. Yeah.
You do more on that.
I'm sure there can be more, yeah. A couple of little ones. Oh, I'm not sure, there's a Thundercloud quote, "I'm not sure that I'd like to be one of those big wigs and sit on a judgmental judge's dandruff head. I've heard that those who play in the mud are pigs, and I'd rather be clean than on a pig's head." And he was a self-taught magician. He taught himself to spell, syntax, grammar, sentence construction, and poetry as well. As hypnotism, he could change minds with his words, sent into the ether and supersonically heard. Knew the secret of the universe, everything is mind. With simple words he changed the universe for all the time. That was inspired by Thoth, or Hermes Trismegistus, actually, and some of his Hermetic readings. Here we go. 1984 plus 40, this is called. The Reds are no longer under your bed. They're hidden by stealth above your head. It's the World Economic Forum, mate. The IMF, BIS, central banks and more. Mossad, CIA, MI5 make war. Compromised politicians have child sex, supported by the military-industrial complex. Hunger wars and hunger games, hunger medicines, just the same. Deep state governmental overreach. Warning, warning, your social credit score has been breached. Oops, that just turned off my bank accounts. Warning. This one is called The Wealthy New World Order. And it's about the whole changing financial system that's going through a giant flux at the moment as they're looking at replacing like the BIS and Bank of International Settlements. BRICS are moving to Ripple, away from the SWIFT system. Russia's had to move towards Ripple, and these crypto exchange systems, the wealthy new world order. There are those who cannot see past the old paradigm, stuck in the past, regurgitating dogma with a closed mind, resistant to change like a record scratched on repeat, some so stuck they'll argue and never admit defeat. Deaf to all but their own voices, closed to new ideas, ignorant of new paradigm choices, their fingers stuck in their ears. Electricity made from permanent magnets, no more coal to burn. Crypto economy and AI changing the way we earn. Robots taking menial jobs and technology use increasing. Violent crime declining, poverty globally decreasing. World US hegemony declines, crumble, president puppet bumbles, while the BRICS are lifting gold standard dumbbells. They've been hoarding gold for quite some years, haven't they? So I believe. About to enter the lolly shop. I've come with lots of money, gobstoppers, gum and soda, pop, jelly beans and drops of honey. A voice inside yells, "Stop! This isn't best for your tummy," and right next door is a fruit shop, delicious, sweet, juicy, yummy. I go to the organic fruit shop, clean food is worth the money, feeling fit and strong at my top, radiant and also sunny. It's a little one. And what have I got for you? Oh, look, I think I'm going to finish with the last one, which I wrote this morning. I'll get a drink of water first. One of my latest readings, Dr. Thomas Sowell from America. He's a 93-year-old African-American man. His book, Intellectuals and Society. It's a very interesting read. When you look at the sort of the spiritual progression of things from the emotional, spiritual way, there's one level that people can often get stuck. It's at the intellect level. What's his name? David Hawkins talks about it extensively in Power versus Force, an anatomy of human consciousness. But Thomas Sowell really breaks it down and talks really well about the different ideas of the different problems with too much intellectualism leading to sort of an arrogance and over-governance, because thinking that you know more than everyone else and everyone's wrong, sort of an arrogance anyway. This is cool, but I thought I'd write it and put it in a parable. So this is about an owl who has a wise idea that the floor, the forest floor is not getting its fair share of sunlight. The parable of the owl who thought he knew better, or the other title is The Double-Edged Sword of Intellectual Arrogance. This poem is based on the ideas presented in Dr. Thomas Sowell's book, Intellectuals and Society, which I highly recommend. It's also a lesson for the problems of state centralisation, fascism, and everything from communism and any kind of big government, really. There's more about this in my blog, thundercloudrepairing.com, where I expand it in an article and then I do put the poem in. parable of the owl who thought he knew better. In emerald halls, where sunlight dared not tread, where ancient oaks still held secrets whispering low, Hooter the owl, with wisdom's crown upon his head, preached of shadows where the forest should not grow. His feathered form a tapestry of speckled night, his voice a siren song in boughs of aged might. He spoke of trees that hoarded golden rays, and creatures veiled in gloom denied their rightful days. The forest stirred a ripple of discontent, from timid mouse to stoic lumbering ox. Hooter's words, a firebrand heaven sent, ignited dreams of light beyond the locks. He promised justice, etched in sunlit lines, a grand utopia where shadows dared not creep. With shears of justice and with boughs entwined, he vowed to banish gloom from slumber's deepest sleep. The rabbits danced, their fur ablaze with hope. The squirrels clambered, eager to enforce their decree. But Saul the ox, wise with season's patient scope, felt doubt's first tremor touch his ancient knee. He'd seen the scars of grand designs laid bare, the unintended thorn that grew with borrowed light, the parched earth grasping neath the denuded lair, where once the shade had held the sun at bay just right. But Hooter's fervour drowned the whispering fear. His pronouncements rang like gongs upon the breeze, and doubt was swept away, a tear uncried unnear, as branches were chopped, a sacrifice to sunlight ease. And for a time, the forest shimmered bright, the undergrowth a canvas newly spun, but soon the cracks of error came to light, as withered branches mocked the rising sun. The parched earth cracked a thirsty song, the rabbits searched for solace in the dust, the squirrels clung to limbs, skeletal shadows long, their dreams of plenty transformed to disgust. Then Saul, voice a rumble from the ground, spoke truths etched deep in roots and ancient bark. Hooter's grand designs, with fetters bound, can only steal the dance of darkness and the dark, of nature's own design, where sun and shade conspire to weave a tapestry where life in balance thrives. No single thread, however bathed in fire, can mend the broken loom where every creature strives. His words, a balm on fervid forest dreams, awoke the doubt that Hooter's vision hid. Squirrels lost their grip and rabbits' angry screams, a barrage of questions unanswered by the whiz-kid. Hooter, perched upon his throne, his withered pride saw shadows creeping back to claim their due. His grand design by nature's hand defied, his promises dissolved like morning dew. And so the forest healed, with lessons learned at last, that harmony, not schemes, will guide the light, that Saul's vision whispered on that blast is nature's truest song, sung clear and bold and bright. This tale, a whisper echoed in the leaves, a song of shadows woven with the sun, reminds that grand designs like fallen sheaves may wither in the soil. where balance has begun.
Good.
It took a while to get through that, but to write it actually. Yeah. So, yeah, but I do highly recommend Thomas Sowell. Yeah, Dr. Thomas Sowell. Intellectuals in Society. And I do look forward to getting onto some of his other books very in the near future, because I really like what he said in that a lot. Yeah. All right. Well, have you got anything else? I've got anything else? I haven't got anything else. No. What have we got? We've got the Davos conference coming up in the 16th to the 27th of January over there in Switzerland. Yeah, they'll be talking about at the Davos conference, first of all on Tuesday, tokenising everything from the clothes on your back to your ticket to space. Yeah. So in other words, what they can do, you can pretty much, give everything a label these days with a barcode. So everything can be potentially in the future barcoded with the blockchain. Reinforcing trust. They'll be talking about unleashing the blockchain in finance, so it improves the security and the speed of transactions, and using blockchain to govern innovation from AI to the future of money. Some of the speakers will be, well, you've probably never heard of them. The founder and CEO of Swirls Lab, Equity Lab, Hedera. Yeah, check that one out, HBAR. It's a hash graph, it's not a blockchain. HBAR, yeah. It's another crypto kind of thing. Anyway, I'm Thundercloud and I'm just rambling here, but I do want to say, guess what? The Australian Poetry Hall of Fame now accepts Bitcoin and Satoshi. Yep. There you go. Yep, so Wiki, if you want, you will need a wallet of Satoshi. It's one that I've researched and recommend. Its usability is the number one thing, and it's also security, and it's Australian based as well. Recommended by a friend of mine who is a Bitcoin, keeper of a Bitcoin library, a Bitcoin librarian, yeah. So he basically keeps, all that kind of secret stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. Don't forget though, in the link in the bio, please underneath give this a thumbs up first, because that helps to get the metrics out there. And if you can leave a comment, like leave the word poetry or something like that in the comments, that also helps. But most of all, check out the description where I've got the Australian Poetry Film Festival and the Gofundme Australian Poetry Film Festival crowdfunding campaign to raise funds for the prize money and the marketing of the poetry film contest. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see you here on Friday for Cassie Judy. Yeah. Thank you very much. Good night. Boom. I had to finish off with that.